Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I need to make a statement and get to the point right off the bat today. Teachers are not indoctrinating your kids. But wait, why does that sound so familiar? Oh yeah, probably because I made a video on that in December 2023 and have been repeating it until I'm blue in the face ever since to drive the point home. Yet somehow this continues to pop up seemingly every week. Seriously, it's become like playing whack-a-mole at this point, and it's getting kind of annoying. But I finally realized when I made that live video where I talked about Trump's plans for education, why people still believe this falsehood despite all of the evidence to the contrary. People have begun equating the existence of anything they disagree with as indoctrination. And education is a great example of that because it exists to learn from and contend with different opinions. Now, even though education has been doing a bad job, admittedly, in recent years, creating an atmosphere where conversations rather than debates can take place, that is the intended purpose of school nonetheless. The issue is that many people don't want that anymore. They put politicians in power and push standardized curriculum and policy initiatives that exclude anything they don't like, which is highly amusing because they're ironically the ones doing the indoctrinating then, aren't they? And on that note, how about we take a second and read the actual definition of indoctrination? Again, shall we? It is defined as the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically, which is literally the exact opposite thing that teachers do. As I just said, our job is to expose them to differing opinions and have them learn and grow from that. Why? Because no one should exist in an echo chamber surrounded only by yes people. You grow from being challenged and having to back up your perspectives with actual evidence. You know an actual example of educational indoctrination? The Hitler Youth. And let me give you a brief overview of what that actually looked like as a former history teacher who specialized in World War II. Nazi Germany indoctrinated students with the National Socialist worldview by glorifying the Aryan race while labeling Jews and people they viewed inferior as the bane of civilization. Hitler purged the German public school system of teachers he saw as not promoting that singular worldview and essentially forced educators to join the Nazi Party. Classroom instruction took the form of producing race conscious, obedient, and self sacrificing children who would go on to serve in the Wehrmacht if they were boys and to mostly become baby factories if they were girls. No matter what, they would be willing to fight and die for Hitler himself. They even swore allegiance to him personally. Everything down to the textbooks and board games in class taught students to love Hitler in essentially a cult of personality, to obey the state, and to be anti Semitic. And you know what that led to? Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, where the Hitler Youth played an integral role in burning synagogues, stealing Jewish property, and beginning the wave of violence directed at the Jews a whole year before World War II even started in Europe. And at the end of the Third Reich in May 1945, when Soviet troops were storming Berlin and Hitler was days away from committing suicide, who were some of the last people fighting for Nazi Germany? That's right, the Hitler Youth, child soldiers. There's actually a great example showing this in the movie Downfall, where a man tried to convince the kids to go home and realize that the war was lost, but most stayed and ended up being killed in action because of the level of indoctrination they'd experienced. The girl in the scene even said that they had promised the Führer to fight, again, showing that they were educated into seeing Hitler as this amazing person who could do no wrong. Despite the fact that if they had just looked around and thought critically about the situation, they would have seen how futile it all was. And that is indoctrination. That is the enforcement of a single worldview. That is getting a group of people to believe a single set of beliefs uncritically. Now, please tell me where you see anything remotely like that in the American school system today. Heck, any Western style school for that matter. And sure, there are nationalistic things here and there like the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, absolutely, but that hardly qualifies as indoctrination. Nor does accommodating students who are gay or transgender or teaching them about the bad things America has done, like the Trail of Tears under President Jackson. I even had one person in my comment section claim that by having my students critically analyze the issues over taxation prior to the American Revolution and realizing that the British were actually well within their rights to levy taxes on the colonists, that I was somehow calling the entire existence of the United States into question. as if that would cause the country to suddenly fall apart, even if it did. I wasn't indoctrinating students into hating America as Trump claims teachers do either. I was getting them to critically think about the United States and its past, and not to beat a dead horse or anything, but that is again the opposite of indoctrination. Teachers don't have the time to indoctrinate even if they somehow wanted to. And this entire conversation boils down to the simple fact that people now see one thing they don't like in education and call it indoctrination, or at least claim that's what teachers are doing, instead of creating a safe and conducive learning environment where disagreements can be discussed and learned from like we actually do. As educators, our primary goal is to foster critical thinking and encourage students to form their own opinions, not to reinforce our opinions or their parents' opinions. And that's what so many people in the public actually have a problem with, that teachers want students to think and are gaslighting everyone else into thinking that educators are the ones indoctrinating, when ironically we're the only ones who aren't. We facilitate discussions and empower kids with the ability to question information rather than blindly accept it. We are dedicated professionals who deeply care about our students and their successes. We work tirelessly to provide a quality education despite the challenges we face from people who demonize us instead of supporting us. Let that sink in. And with that, I'd really like to end there for the day, and I sincerely hope that the message gets through this time and I don't need to talk about it a third time. But for now, thank you for listening, and please click like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my content. And as always, I've been Kevin, and I'll see you in the next video.